HMS Witherington D76. HMS Witherington was an Admiralty modified W-class destroyer built for the Royal Navy. She was one of 4 destroyers ordered in April 1918 from James Samuel White & Co. Limited under the 14th Order for Destroyers of the Emergency War Program of 1917-18. She was the first Royal Navy ship to carry this name. The City of Durham adopted HMS Witherington following a successful Warship Week National Savings campaign in February 1942. Construction. Witherington's keel was laid on 27 September 1918 at the James Samuel White & Company, Limited, shipyard in Cowes, Isle of Wight. She was launched on 16 January 1919. She was 300 feet, overall 312 ft between the perpendiculars in length with a beam of 29.5 feet. Her mean draft was 9 feet and would reach 11.25 feet under full load. She had a displacement of 1140 tons standard and up to 1550 full load. She was propelled by 3 White Foster-type water tube boilers powering Curtis Brown-geared steam turbines, developing 27,000 shp, driving 2 screws for a maximum design speed of 34 knots. She was oil-fired and had a bunkerage of 320 to 370 tons. This gave a range of between 3,500 nautical miles at 15 knots and 900 nautical miles at 32 knots. She shipped 4 BL 4.7 in 120 mm in K. I guns, mount PMK. I naval guns in 4 single center-line turrets. The turrets were disposed as 2 forward and 2 aft in superimposed firing positions. She also carried 2 QF-2 PDR in K. Roman 2 Palm 40 mm L/39 mounted a beam between funnels. Abaft of the second funnel, she carried 6 21-inch torpedo tubes in 2 triple mounts on the center line. Interwar years. Witherington was commissioned into the Royal Navy on 10 October 1919 with pennant number D76. After commissioning, she was assigned to the 3rd Destroyer Flotilla of the Atlantic Fleet. The flotilla served in home waters from May 1920 to July 1923, when the flotilla was transferred to the Mediterranean Fleet. She was transferred to China Station in 1926. Also, in 1926, she carried the last Shah of Persia, Ahmad Shah Qajar, into exile, as the old country of Persia was replaced by the country of Iran. During the Nanking incident in March 1927, she helped rescue foreign nationals from the Nanking region of China. In the early 1930s, she underwent a refit and was laid up in maintenance reserve at Rosyth as more modern destroyers came into service. She was reactivated manned by reservists for a royal review at Weymouth in August 1939. With war looming, she was retained in service and brought to war readiness. Second World War. Early operations. In September 1939, the ship was allocated to the 15th Destroyer Flotilla based at Rosyth, changed to Liverpool in 1940 in Western Approaches Command for convoy defense. Up to April 1940, she was employed in the Northwest Approaches area, providing local escort for convoys leaving Liverpool OB series to a dispersal point in the Atlantic approximately 750 nautica. Periodically, an OA sailing from Southern Surrey's convoy would sail and join up with the OB series. The merged convoy would change to an OG series UK to Gibraltar. During this period, she escorted 20 convoys for a total of 436 ships, with total losses of 3 ships, 2 sunk by U-boats and 1 due to collision. In April 1940, she was detached to Scapa Flow after the German invasion of Norway. From 11 April to 15 April, she escorted military convoy in Pone to Narvik. Then on 24 April, she escorted military Timon/1. She provided local escort for the arrival at Clyde for TC4 with 2 troopships carrying 2591 troops. At the end of May, her pennant number was changed to I-76 for visual signaling purposes. In June, she escorted Group 1 named Hebrew of the evacuation of Norway from Scapa to the Clyde. In July 1940, she was returned to the western approaches for convoy defense and was mainly employed in the northwest approach sector as a local escort until February 1942. During this time, she escorted 13 mercantile convoys. On 11 March 1941, she was beached in Portsmouth after sustaining damage from a Luftwaffe air raid, to be later repaired and returned to service. SRE Conversion. In late February 1942, she was withdrawn for conversion to a short-range escort SRE. To augment the earlier changes, the replacement of the after bank of torpedo tubes with a single QF 12-pounder 12 CWT naval gun, and the landing of Y gun for additional space for depth charge gear and stowage, a Type 271 centimetric target indication radar was added on the bridge, and a Type 286P air warning. Western Approaches Command. Upon completion of the conversion, Witherington was redeployed in the Western Approaches. During March, she was part of the escort force of Convoy Halifax inbound HX 229. The convoy was under sustained attack during the night of 16-17 March by 5 U-boats of the Rograf Group, 2 U-boats of the Sturmer Group, and 1 U-boat transiting to home port. There was no rescue ship assigned to HX 229, therefore the escorts were rescuing the survivors of the 10 merchant ships that were sunk. Only 2 escorts were constantly with the convoy, further exposing the convoy to attack. At the end of June 1943, she was transferred to the Mediterranean based out of Alexandria in support of follow-on convoys for the Allied invasion of Sicily. In November, she was deployed to Gibraltar for Atlantic convoy defense. On 1 November, she took part in the sinking of the German submarine Humanus 340 with HMS Active, HMS Fleetwood, and 2 Vickers Wellington aircraft of No. 179 Squadron RAF 456 at position 35-33, 6-37. She was deployed in the southwest approaches out of Gibraltar throughout 1944. She was deployed in the southwest approaches out of Gibraltar throughout 1944. In 1945, she was deployed to the English Channel area to counter the threat of snorkel-equipped U-boats being concentrated or convoy formation areas. She remained in this deployment until V-Day. Post-war disposition. Witherington was paid off into reserve after V-Day. She was placed on the disposal list after VJ Day. On 20 March 1947, she was sold to Metal Industries for breaking up. On 29 April, while under tow to the breaker's yard at Charlestown near Rosyth, she parted the tow and was wrecked off the mouth of the Tyne in a gale. Place of honor. After the ship was sold for scrap, her ship's bell was retrieved and presented to the City of Durham. The bell, along with a plaque displaying the ship's crest, were mounted in the City Council chambers.